Hi kids. This little video is designed to walk you through the analysis section for your SE1 experimentation project. I'm actually using a graph that Trotter McLemore made, so thank you for letting me use that, Trotter. And I'm going to be showing you his analysis, which may help you with yours. So the first thing you need to have is a good graph, and if you don't have a graph that looks just like this, then you want to watch the graphing video first. But the key thing from the graph, there are two things that you want to see. What is the shape of that trend line? Hopefully you can see that's linear. And then you need this equation as the label for the trend line that will help you do your analysis. So what I would do in my analysis is I would start by writing the original equation, rewriting it in normal y equals mx plus b format. So up here it said, just 3.1 times x plus negative 0.948. But I'm going to rewrite that as y equals 3.1x minus 0.948. That's y equals mx plus b form. Then, because we're not just graphing random variables, y and x, and our y and x axis have significance, we're going to replace the y and the x in the equation with these variables. So I would rewrite the equation as average height in centimeters, which is my y variable, equals 3.1 times the cups of flour minus 0.948. So the analysis section should contain three parts. The first part is to talk about the shape of the graph. Trotter says this graph shows that the more flour there is in a donut, the taller it is. This means the graph shows a linear relationship between flour and height because more flour means more height and vice versa. So we can see that nice linear trend line. The second thing is to talk about the y-intercept. In your equation, that's that number at the end. So Trotter wrote that the y-intercept of his trend line is negative 0.948. This means when we put no flour in the donuts, then the height will be negative 0.948 centimeters, right? So when the flour goes all the way to 0, that's where that trend line is going to intercept, somewhere way out here. And then Trotter says, obviously this isn't possible because we can't have a donut with a negative height, and it shows that our trend line doesn't necessarily predict all the values very accurately. The relationship might not be perfectly linear. The third thing you should talk about is the slope, which in this case is 3.1. So Trotter says the slope of the trend line is 3.1. This means that every time we add one more cup of flour, the donuts become 3.1 centimeters taller. So that is just how I'd like you to sort of analyze that equation. One thing I wanted to mention is that some of you guys are getting a graph that is linear but has a negative slope. It's not inverse because we don't see that curved shape in the graph. We don't see the asymptote at the two axes. So it looks like a linear graph, but it's just negative. We haven't talked a lot about that in this class, but when you get the equation for that, it's going to have a negative m, like negative 3.1. If Trotter's graph had a negative slope, the whole analysis is the same, except for this last part where we talk about the slope. You would say the slope of the trend line is negative 2, and that means that every time we add one more cup of flour, the donuts should be 3.1 centimeters shorter if we happen to have that negative trend line. So it's not an inverse trend line because we don't see where one variable doubling causes the other to halve. Instead, one variable goes up, causing the other variable to go down by an amount instead of by just that reciprocal ratio. Okay, so hopefully watching this will help you guys get your own analysis from your own graphs. Good luck.